Let's just give this a second. We're a couple of minutes late. Let's just give this a second for people to come through and all that kind of stuff. There we go. Hello everyone that's just arriving. Sorry, I'm a couple of minutes late. Had to whip up a thumbnail for this. Yeah. How's everyone going? Can everyone hear me? I was going to make sure that everyone can hear me before I start talking. Hello, Kaz is here. We got Jaws here. Sean. Tom's here. Who else is going to be here? Some other people. It's not a beer. It's something else. Alyssa's here. Ryan's here. Got heaps of people here. Wow. All right. We'll start talking in a second. Blake's here. Yeah, we had a big week. This week's been an interesting little week. Watch the footy. No, the Broncos aren't playing tonight, but I'm probably not going to watch the Broncos next week either. Wow. Okay. Yeah. So this has been an interesting week. So I ended up, this week we spent a lot of money on some fish that I've been pretty keen on for quite a bit of time. So I guess I got to talk about that. I guess I can talk about some other stuff today as well with some, we have some wholesalers now, which is really good. So there's going to be some plants available on the store as of, I think, either Thursday or Wednesday, whenever they arrive. So I ordered some plants. They'll be able to come on. Well, you guys will be able to pick them up if you want to. They'll be available soon. And got some fish. I got some cool stuff coming as well. And yes, this week we did have a couple of big purchases. So let's start off by, I guess, talking about what I got. So the fish I ended up picking up first, I've been looking into it for a long time. So I've been looking into lots of the L number plecos. So there is a whole entire world of L number plecos. And to be honest, I'm not the person to be talking to about L number plecos. I've never bred them before. I'm not the best, keeping them, I've kept them and stuff like that, but I'm by no means a god at this. So I can't really answer a lot of your breeding questions and stuff like that. I can only give you guys the information that I've got, but I've been looking into it for a very long time. I've been watching all the guys with all the zebras and all those really expensive, really cool ones that look amazing, all the endangered ones and stuff like that. So it has been kind of on my bucket list for a bit of time. I've noticed that in a lot of my bare bottom tanks, I had quite a bit of space where I actually can keep a lot of these things and just keep them under there, in the bottoms with all the neon tetra babies and stuff like that for a couple of years and not have any stresses with that. And so first, I'll mute this, getting lots of comment emails and stuff like that. So the first things we picked up were the Orinoco snowball plecos. So we got some L201s and I picked up 6 of them. And I tell you what, they were not cheap by any means. They were quite an expensive fish. And I'm still kind of, I don't know, questioning whether I should have done that. I backed myself to keep them and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that was a big thing to do. And then today, I literally just came back. So that's why I'm a little bit late. And I picked up some L134s, which I've been super, super keen on for so long. So those are the leopard frog plecos, and they look so sick. So I picked up 9 of them. I found a breeder somehow. I don't know how the heck I found these breeders. I spent a long time on weird kind of websites trying to find these people that just breed these in their garage and stuff like that. So a lot of these fish are very, very hard to tricky to find. They're not available very often, and I just kind of pulled the trigger, and yeah, we got some really cool fish. So I got leopard frogs, and I've got the Orinoco angel plecos, so snowballs. They're kind of pretty similar. So L201s and L134s, and I'm pretty stoked about it. So that was pretty cool. We've also this week obviously had the wholesaler like I was talking about before. So yeah, that's my story for now, I guess. We've got some people in here. I can start answering some questions. So if you guys want to ask me any questions at all, I really appreciate everyone coming out. We've got quite a few people on the stream, and like yeah, it's been growing every week. We get a few more people every week, and it's been just like, yeah, pretty cool. So any questions you want to ask, I'll be answering them and all that kind of stuff. It's good to see how many people are actually here. I recognize a lot of names. We've got Bobby's here, Aquamate's here. There's so many people. So yeah, these L number plecos, yeah, they've been something like, I don't know. I think they're not a tricky hard, like they're not a hard fish to take care of, actually, to be honest. They're quite an easy fish to take care of. They are a carnivorous fish for the most part. They don't eat a lot of veggie matter and stuff like that. They're quite carnivorous because they eat lots of little bugs and stuff like that on the bottom of the of rivers and stuff like that in Brazil and all that kind of stuff. So I think the thing that makes them tricky, a lot of people wouldn't say that they're tricky to take care of and stuff like that. But the thing is that it's that price gap between a lot of these plecos. So a lot of people are like willing to take the step into something like a peppermint, which over here is about, I don't know, I've seen them for about $40. Sometimes they're more than that. I can't really tell you, but like to be spending upwards of $95 on a fish sometimes does put a lot of people off. And that's the same for discus and stuff like that. A lot of people are just put off. So yeah, I'm up for the challenge because it's going to be a big 2-year adventure. I guess like that's how long it takes for these guys to get sexual maturity. But I'm definitely down for it. I would take these guys even if I didn't breed them. They look so cool. Like the leopard frogs just look mint, and the Orinoco guys, I don't know. I've got that, like, all you guys here would know about it, but that feeling when you get a new fish, it's just crazy. So I'm like really running off that buzz at the moment, if you guys can tell. So I'm kind of a bit lost for words because a lot of these fish are very, very hard to find in my area, and because they breed so they're not like readily breeding, it's quite hard to find a lot of these things. So I was pretty stoked to get them all. But yeah, Aquamate asks, how many of these new plecos are you sending to Aquamate? Not any for the next 2 years. And even at that point, I don't know whether I'm going to be sending any. I'm pretty keen on keeping a lot of them. And yeah, but if it does come to it and I've got way too many, I'll definitely be selling them and stuff like that. But it's going to be a long time before I can be selling any of this stuff. And yeah, to be honest, it's like kind of like those fish that I don't really want to sell unless I'm selling them to like the right person. And all you people out here that are watching this are the right person. But yeah, I don't know. They're really cool fish. Some of these fish are amazing. Alyssa asked, I've got to talk to Alyssa. Yeah, she's asked, am I going to do a saltwater tank? She keeps asking me all the time. I get comments all the time. Probably for the last year and a half, I've been getting comments about getting a saltwater tank from Alyssa. And she said she's going to keep asking me till I say yeah. And the answer is still no. No, I'm not. It's not that I'm against saltwater, but I'm not a saltwater kind of guy. I've still got a lot of stuff that I need to do in the freshwater stuff. And I think that my skill set at the moment is built for freshwater, and I don't really need to like further confuse it with saltwater until I start to get like a real good grasp on what I'm doing and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, here we go. We can start. I guess I'll start answering a couple of your guys' questions. I've kind of already just splurted out everything that's happened, but we can just have a chat, I guess. And yeah, I have a 15-gallon planted aquarium. I want to breed fish for profit. For profit, I want to breed. Would you choose either German blue rams or dwarf crayfish or bristlenose plecos? So in a breeding for profit tank, what you're looking for is a fish that's going to always sell, and a fish that is going to carry a bit of price. Because if you sell, like for instance, I always give, like when people are asking me for the best fish to breed for profit, I say something like a guppy. Now, to be honest, a guppy will normally eat its profit, like just by you having to feed it and stuff like that. So normally they're not like the best choice for breeding for profit. If you're like, because you kind of, when you're breeding for profit, you have to decide whether you're a hobbyist or whether you're trying to run a business. Now, if you're trying to run a business, I would definitely not recommend guppies and stuff like that, which you didn't ask the question. I'm going to get onto your point in a second. And that's because they're going to be able to, like, they're just going to gobble up all their, like, all the profit that you're trying to make in what you're going to feed them. So I always recommend something that's a bit more higher ticket. And in that case, I'd say something like a German blue ram is going to be an awesome fish to breed for profit if you can do it successfully, because they're going to have like a higher profit margin. But a fish store is always going to take a German blue ram Fish stores won't always take like a dwarf crayfish because they're not really like, hobbyists don't really want them as much as German blue rams. Like everyone like kind of knows what a German blue ram is, and they're more higher ticket. So you've got a lot better of a chance of selling a lot of them than you do a lot of dwarf crayfish. And German blue rams are actually a really good one to breed because their fry grow really quick. So for breeding for profit, that's definitely the way I'd go for it. And that's just my advice. My excuses are lame for getting a saltwater tank. They're not lame. I would. Look, I would at some point. I don't know how far away it is, but like there's so many things that still have to be done at the moment. And yeah, would I get a turtle? No, I don't have any space is the thing. I don't have space, guys. There we go. So this is good. Aquamate says he wouldn't recommend Germans unless you are having a lot of luck already. People have talked to me about how tricky they are. Could be a good point of difference for you, but could cause headaches if not. So yeah, like that's a good thing too. I mean, like it depends where you are in your fish keeping. Like there's any fish could cause anyone headaches. Like different people have different circumstances. I mean, for profit, like your best chances to actually make a profit are definitely going to be just breeding something like German blue rams, or like angelfish are really good too. Or even like, I mean, if you're trying to run a business and you've been keeping fish for a long time, L number pleco is going to be awesome because you can sell a lot of fish for upwards of $100 each. And I mean, yes, they're only going to have small clutches, and in the meantime of getting those clutches, you could have made more with breeding angelfish and stuff like that. But for profit, if you had like 5 trios of like L number plecos, just pumping out babies, you would make a killing, like upwards of $1,000 a month, like or more. So yeah. So Jason says German blue rams are a bit more tricky, but as long as you keep the heat high, that normally keeps them happy. Good food and heat and places to spawn. Yeah. So like the German blue rams, I've been breeding them at the moment. I'm still doing the epistos and all that kind of like stuff. My head's all over the place with the breeding stuff. Yeah, they're a high temperature fish. You're going to want to keep them real nice and warm, and they're going to do really, really well for you. So that's the way you want to do it. And yeah, like 28 degrees Celsius is a good temperature if you're keeping them like in Celsius, or if you do Fahrenheit and stuff like that, you're going to want to go like upwards of like 82 and stuff like that. So those are the temperatures and all that kind of stuff. They're real cool fish though. Like they look sick. But I'd say like for breeding for profit, yeah, the main things you want to, I guess we can talk about that today as well. Because I had a lot of people asking me, because this week I released a video selling stuff to my local fish store, and I talked about how you have to like kind of develop a relationship with a fish store before you can sell to them and all that kind of stuff. So I guess I can talk about that today if you guys want to hear that. But that's the thing too, like a lot of people see breeding fish for profit as kind of like a straight road, and like I just have to make fish and then I can sell them. But the thing is, a lot of people, where they go wrong isn't actually the breeding, it's the business end of it. So like the selling and stuff like that is where it gets really tricky. So I mean, before you make any kind of product, you've always got to find a way to sell it. Like you've got to know how you're going to sell it before you make it. Like you wouldn't just, I mean, a lot of people, if they knew that they weren't going to be able to sell something, wouldn't make it. So you've got to find a way to sell it. Now you can either decide, look, I'm going to privately sell them. There's enough demand and I'm backing myself to be able to sell these fish once I make them. Or you have to know that you're going to sell them. So the best way to do that is to form a business relationship with a local fish store. So that can be quite tricky. And I guess like everyone's circumstances are going to be different for that. It's not obviously, I mean, every person that runs a fish store isn't going to be the same. And the way people form relationships and stuff like that with a fish store is going to be different. So like, for instance, the first thing I'm going to recommend is to only shop at one place for all your aquarium stuff. Now, yes, there's exceptions. Like if you're in a rush and your local fish store is 40 minutes away and there's a PetSmart or something like that, like 5 minutes away, obviously it's going to make more sense just to pick it up from there. But only in the worst case. Normally I'd rather drive to the local fish store just to pick up a product like that, because that's kind of how those stores are run. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to like consistently buy from this fish store. You don't want to go to other ones and compare prices and like buy all your stuff on like Craigslist and stuff like that, because like, I mean, that's just not being loyal to the business. So that's the first thing I'm going to say. And then the second thing I'm going to say is if you actually are selling stuff, you can't sell to like other fish stores and stuff like that. That's going to kill a relationship, obviously. But so you're going to want to start shopping at a local fish store. You're going to want to go there and you're going to want to like buy products consistently. You're going to want to buy like fish and fish flakes and or just like your general stuff. And then they'll start to recognize you because, I mean, not a crazy amount of people will come into a fish store. They'll start to recognize you. And you start talking to the person that owns it. And then, I mean, after a good bit of time, if you've been shopping there for quite a while, you can just simply ask the question, hey, like, I've got angelfish on the way. Would you be interested in taking them? And they're either going to say yes or no. They're going to ask, like, I mean, there's a whole bunch of things that's going to happen, and I can't run through all of that. But that's kind of how that relationship starts. You need to be consistently buying from someone. You kind of almost form like this weird kind of style of friendship, like fish nerding over like kind of stuff before you can really get like comfortable with a fish store. But the thing that a lot of people do as well is like a fish store doesn't want to sell to you like once. They're going to kind of like stuff all the time. And you got to sell quality stuff. Like if you sell them something dodgy and then like it turns out bad and they lose money, they're never going to buy from you again. So that's just another thing that I'm going to like say. I guess I'm not like a complete expert on developing something like that. I'm kind of very lucky that I've been shopping at the one place for a very long time, and it kind of just happened without me trying to make it happen. So maybe that's another piece of advice, but that's just how I did it. And that's how I do it. So yeah. What else we got going on down here? Got a lot of people here today. Wow. New weekend, new fish. Where did everyone pick up? Did anyone buy stuff this weekend? Let's see what's happening. Hi, I live in Tasmania and can't find any epistogrammas very easily. Do you know where I can buy them? No, I do not, but I can tell you where you can't buy them. That's from Queensland. So I've talked about this in a lot of other streams, and that's been a big challenge with setting up the fish store like online and stuff like that, selling my fish online and all that kind of stuff, is that in Australia, I say this like quite a lot, but it's very, very tricky to actually, because of all like quarantine laws and stuff like that, it's very, very hard to send stuff around Australia just because of like, you're not allowed to send stuff to certain states. So for instance, I can't send any epistogrammas to Tasmania or to the Northern Territory legally. I'm just not allowed to send that. I think there's certain like imports and like import licenses and stuff like that where you can actually do that, but you definitely can't do it to Tasmania, and that's a fact. So it is quite tricky to find like ways to buy stuff, I guess, in those like spots, especially with epistogrammas and stuff like that. I've noticed that not a lot of people actually have them around my area. So, and they were quite tricky actually to find here. So I can't really give you any pieces of advice that's going to help you a substantial amount. I wish I could, but yeah, I can send epistogrammas to New South Wales, Victoria, where else? Queensland. I can send them to Queensland, and I can also send them to South Australia. What else we got going on? So what have people actually bought this weekend? Because I spent $1,000 on fish, which sounds bad, but it's only like a once every 2 year kind of thing. So it is a bit like the bank's a bit like, oh, but I tell you what, my little fish head's going off right now. Like I couldn't be more happy. Shep's Aquatics bought $427 worth of plants and fish this week. Whoa. What fish did you buy? I'm guessing it would all be in the fish. Normally plants aren't that expensive. There's not a lot of plants that you could charge $427 for. I'm betting it's like some kind of like rare fish. Definitely plecos or something. Discus maybe. 6 pigeon blood blue discus. Oh, they're pretty too. Bodgie's in. Weekend isn't over. Still have all of Sunday. Yeah, there's still a lot of time to buy stuff. I'm pretty full at the moment. I can't buy a lot more stuff, but my wholesaler is actually sending me this week. We've got what I ordered 4. I don't know how many they're going to actually be able to send me, but I ordered 4. What are they called? The orange flash epistogrammas. So if anyone's keen on getting them and starting to breed them, I'm going to have some of them available, which is going to be really, really cool. I actually haven't seen any of them in stores. So I was super keen to see that. Like when I opened up the wholesale list, I was like, oh, yes, please. And I put my order in straight away. So I've got some of them coming, and I think I ordered 4. So I think they send them in pairs. but I'm going to be doing like an unboxing and stuff like that, which you guys can see, and you guys will get to see some of that stuff. And yeah, but we've also got like heaps of plants and stuff like that. So just some basic ones. There weren't like most of them got bought up. So I ordered Java Fern, there's Anubias coming, Vallisneria, Wisteria, Water Sprite. What else? I think that's it. I ordered quite a bit of it, so you guys can all like have a look at that if you want to. I don't feel like obliged to take anything from me, but $10 got me 5 male endless and 10 female guppies / endless. Damn, that's not bad. That's a really good deal. I've dropped a stupid amount of fish more than once. Yeah, a lot of people. It's like I find that all we do in this hobby is like it's kind of like those like hidden expenses, which are the flakes and stuff like that. And what happens is we like end up spending like $30-$40 and stuff like that quite frequently. But then we just get this like urge coming, and we just need to spend like this stupid amount of money. And like every couple of months, it's just like a big, and we just drop like a bunch of money on stuff. So yeah. What else is going on? Should I do a video on, give me 1 second. Can I do a video on fertilizers? Yeah, so I'll be honest, because this channel is about obviously keeping stuff simple. And that's how I like to keep fish. I actually don't dose fertilizers in any of my aquariums frequently. There's a video that I recently made, and there was a method that I was using because I had some staghorn algae and stuff like that. So the way that kind of algae forms is from low CO2 and low flow in aquariums. And the way to combat it was to add activated carbon. So I added some Flourish Excel, and that was the only time I've added any kind of plant growing chemicals to an aquarium. And to be honest, like I would make a video about fertilizers, but for me, it's not really worth making a video on a thing that I don't really use and don't find practical. So that's why I don't have lots of like hang on pack filter reviews, and I don't have a lot of I don't have like videos about canister filters and stuff like that because I personally don't use them. If I start using them in the future, obviously I'm going to make videos and teach you guys all that kind of stuff. But for the most part, I think like the best way for me to make videos and for you guys to like find something in it is to talk about stuff that I'm pretty confident in like keeping in the way I'm doing things. So yeah. What are people saying here? I think we've got someone talking about how do you keep Vallisneria alive? Yeah, so like I don't really know why this has started. So maybe it's just recently been a thing, but a lot of people have been saying that like Vallisneria and stuff has been dying, and especially after dosing like Flourish Excel and all that kind of stuff, people have been saying that they've been killing the Vallisneria. Now, look, I have absolutely no clue what could be happening. I'm not like I don't have any idea of what's happening, but a lot of people are saying that they're having problems with keeping it alive. Now, for me, I added Flourish Excel to my tank, and the Vallisneria is doing better. So I don't know whether it's just the fact that I've got really low flow. Maybe that's doing something. Maybe too high of lighting could melt it away. I literally have no clue. One thing I'm going to mention is maybe some people, like if you are like watching this and you've had like the problem, please let me know whether you have just recently, I'm trying to figure this out. Please, thanks for smashing the like button, everyone. Please let me know like if you had recently bought the plant, because maybe I'm suggesting like, or thinking that what's happening is people a lot of the time will buy a plant, and I think a lot of the times what's going to happen is when you add jungle val to an aquarium, it actually melts back. Like that happened for me. And a lot of those leaves that you get when you get your original stem are just going to go away. But then normally what's going to happen is lots of little tiny baby jungle vals are just going to come up and spread across the bottom of the aquarium. So maybe we're not giving it enough time. I'm not too sure. But if you guys would let me know, or if you'd grown them and then they'd like gone away or something like that, maybe that could be it, but I'm not too sure. Wow. A lot of people in today. Thank you everyone for coming in. Do a DIY citrus and baking soda CO2 setup video. That's pretty simple. I think my neighbors decided to do something. I don't know. There's a bit of noise going on. Yeah, so like again, like I would do a video like that, but unless I was using it, it wouldn't make sense for me to do it because it's not completely like authentic and that like the way I would keep fish. So that's why I haven't done it. But yeah, what else should we talk about today? Because I bought an L333 6 weeks ago and never seen it again. Is it still in the aquarium? Yeah, because they're really, really, really hard to like see. A lot of my plecos, especially the snowball plecos, because I haven't had the L134s for a bit of time, but the snowball plecos, the second I've added them, I've seen them hardly at all, and they're going and hiding in caves and stuff like that. And I mean, I guess a lot of people find enjoyment in keeping these kinds of fish from the feeding because they come out when you feed, and that's when a lot of people get to see them. But they do just scurry off; they just go away, and it does happen a lot. So yeah, I'm not surprised you haven't seen them for quite a bit of time, but just make sure they're in there. I mean, as long as you haven't seen like a body or something like that, it should be all good. Just joined. Did you buy the Plecos? Yes, I did. Yeah, that's what we've been talking about. I spent way too much on Plecos this weekend. Yeah, we bought the L134 leopard frog Plecos, which have been like, they're one of the coolest fish. They're not as cool as like the zebra L46s and stuff like that, but they're very, very cool. So yeah. Okay, so we're back onto the jungle val. This is a bit like disjointed. Back onto the jungle val. I've had jungle val for a little over a month. It did okay for a week. Then it just basically snapped its fun. Okay. So yeah, I'm guessing Alyssa, what's happening? So she's describing basically when you add it, what's going to happen when you add jungle val to an aquarium is normally it's just going to melt those original leaves that you see completely away, and it's going to go down to nothing. But that little root system, what it's doing underneath there, is it's adjusting to being underwater. And some of the times, like I'm not too sure with jungle val and stuff like that, but a lot of times plants are grown out of the water, and that can be a problem for bringing them into your aquarium because they have to go into that under. They completely just kill off their leaves, they melt away. And what's going to happen is underneath that, there's going to be a huge root system forming, and then you're going to see it'll start to prosper. So maybe buy it again. It's not an expensive plant, so it shouldn't be killing your bank completely. Buy it again and just literally don't like touch it at all and just leave it, and it should be perfect. Thanos snapped his fingers on my tank. Yeah, he's just completely said no to jungle val. Keep an Aussie bass in a big tank. I don't have a big tank to put an Aussie bass in. Wow. Yeah, I would keep. Yeah, I would keep like an Aussie bass again. Like I'd keep any fish really. Like I'm just so amazed by like the fact that you can keep like fish in a glass box like inside your house. It's just like crazy. Like so that's like the weird thing for me. That's like where a lot of that interest and stuff comes from, and that's probably a lot like the same for a lot of people. I mean, some other people have different motives and stuff like that, but like I guess like I would, but this is a topic of every single live stream recently. It's just like, yeah, there's no space. Like there's nowhere to put it, and they're not a community fish. So like I keep a lot of community fish because I can mix them all up and stuff like that. So that does make it pretty nice. But yeah, a bass is not not a community fish and would destroy a lot of my nice expensive ones. So yeah. Liquid carbon melts val. Okay. Maybe I didn't dose it enough, but I don't agree with that at all at the moment. Like maybe I haven't added enough liquid carbon to my aquarium yet, but I added quite a bit. I added a whole bottle of a Flourish Excel between two 4-foot aquariums. My val did perfectly fine. Nothing happened to it. I don't see why, like, I mean, an overexposure of carbon would do anything to it, but yeah, I'm really not too sure. Have you ever had multiple bristlenose catfish females lay eggs in the same cave? My last spawn had 4 different lots of eggs in them. I've never had that, Jason. That is crazy. I've actually got this right now. So I've been slowing down my production of bristlenose because I've got a plethora of just bristlenose in my aquariums. I've got so many. So yeah, it's kind of crazy, but I've been slowing that down. But at the moment in one of my community aquariums, the Angelfish Aquarium, there's a male in there that's actually had a spawn. He's been raising the eggs and he's got them to fry stage, but he hasn't let them out yet. But he's got another spawn in there. So there's just eggs at the front of the cave. and there's still his old batch at the back. Now, I don't know whether like something is happening that's gone wrong or something like that, but like I don't know whether it's another female. Am I still connected, by the way? I think my internet's all good. Yeah, I don't know whether it's another female or whether he's just gotten impatient and wanted to make another batch because he's been eating so much food. But yeah, it's crazy. Oh, thanks, Ryan, for the donation. Just a couple of fish there. It looks like a smiley face, a fish, tropical fish, and a merman. You should get musk turtles. They give you a great experience. Yeah, so like I don't think you can actually get musk turtles here in Australia. The reasoning is a lot of the like reptiles and stuff like that, the way Aussies keep reptiles and like stuff like that is because they're not like, you have to have a license for each individual reptile that you keep. And that's just because I think they have to track populations and stuff like that. And that's, I think a lot of the things like turtles and stuff like that, you need to have like licenses, and you're not allowed to have a lot of different types of exotic turtles and things like that. So I don't keep them. I think that Jimmy from Swisky has a musk turtle, or is it like a snapping turtle or something like that? It's really cool. And I've seen the feeding videos and stuff like that. It looks amazing, but yeah. You're only allowed native reptiles and stuff like that. So that's the way it is. Okay, I have a friend that has a lot of vallisneria. He has white, red, and green light. It does not use fertilizers and CO2. The plants do good. Yeah, so like that's pretty much my aquarium. I really don't. I use really bad eBay lights for my aquariums, and I couldn't tell you what kind of light they are. That's how like simple I've gotten with the fish keeping at the moment. It's like stupid. I've got so much, like the amount of equipment that I've got seems so absurd compared to a lot of other people. But yeah, I've got no clue what kind of light that I've got in there, but I literally run an eBay light and a sponge filter, and I just change the water twice a week. Normally, sometimes once a week, sometimes 4 times a week. That just really depends. But yeah, I think maybe an overexposure of CO2, I mean, could potentially melt it, but it's such an easy growing plant that it doesn't seem possible to me. But I'm honestly not too sure. I mean, let me know, like, because I think it seems to be quite a common occurrence between a lot of people that their stuff is melting back and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, Jimmy's turtle is awesome. That is so true. Like, I would keep like a turtle, but again, like they do take a whole tank and they do get quite big. So yeah, is foul sensitive to temperature? I don't think so. I mean, like as long as you're keeping it in a tropical tank, I wouldn't keep it in like a very cold tank. I want to keep it under 15 degrees Celsius or something like that. But in warm conditions, 20 degrees to 28 degrees, it's going to do fine. I don't think that it would be related to temperature and stuff like that. But yeah, here's a really good question. What are the best plants for plecos? I might not be the best person to ask. I don't think a lot of plants go great with plecos. Obviously for bristlenose and stuff like that, we're talking about a different kind of fish. Now, it depends whether you guys want to talk about L number plecos or if you want to talk about ancestris, which are the common bristlenose and stuff like that. Now, for bristlenose, I can give you an answer, but for the L numbers, I honestly haven't tried enough plants to let you know. I think actually most kinds of plants that you would keep with a bristlenose would be able to go with an L number pleco, no troubles, because the L number plecos don't really like attach to plants and eat it and stuff like that. And people keep them in planted tanks all the time. Now, we're not talking about huge foot-long plecos here. We're talking about the small guys. I'd recommend, honestly, you want really sturdy plants. So maybe crypts. I'd say crypts. Val's really good, I found. Jungle, Java fern is really good. Anubias is good. A lot of the crypts are a really, really good one because they can't chew. Like they're quite a bit thicker, like the leaves, and they do a lot better. So those are the plants I'd recommend. I think that like some of the worst plants you can keep with them are really soft tissue plants. So like any of your high tech plants are going to be really, really bad. But yeah, how big do the L number ones I bought today get? They get I've got a ruler right here. I'll show you. They get up to about just over 10 centimeters long. So not like crazy big. This Plecos is huge, but your average size is going to be about 11 centimeters. So like we'd say, I don't know if you guys can see it, about that big. So we're saying in inches. We've got inches here too. So we're looking at about just under 4 inches. So not big at all. They're really, really cute fish. And the fact that they stay small has been like one of the biggest factors for me in keeping them, because I'm a big fan of, honestly, small fish. I love really tiny fish. And the fact that they stay small and they have that much color is just so amazing. So yeah, I'm super, super keen. Yeah, best plants for plecos are the ones that can't uproot. That's exactly right. So you want stuff that sticks to plants. I mean, sticks to like hardscape and stuff like that. They're not going to be able to dislodge that stuff. And you want stuff with really, really thick leaves and all that kind of good stuff. I'm surprised my parents don't mind the river dripping noise in my basement. 4 hang-on-back filters and 1 spray filter. It sounds so peaceful. Yeah, the same here. Like, my fish tanks aren't like near my parents and stuff like that. So they don't seem to like. I mean, obviously, I would prefer if it was like completely peaceful, but I try and keep the noise down to a minimum. And that's another thing I can talk about, because I've been considering getting a linear air piston pump and running it in that main room with the like kind of the 4 tanks on the side, the one where I do a lot of recording, because I'd like to run one of them. First of all, it'd be quieter, and second, I can actually let off more airlines and do a lot more stuff that way. So I'm thinking about doing that. But yeah, like there's a lot of ways you can make a room quieter, but you can never like stop that bubbling noise. It's so hard to stop that. What do we get? Here we go. What else is there? Does low-tech planted tank really need expensive light or cheap light would work? That's a good question too. So like I was just talking about that before. Really low-tech is kind of, I'd consider my stuff to be, honestly, probably as low-tech as, I'm no perfect fish keeper. I make my mistakes and stuff like that, obviously. But I mean, I don't even run dirt in any of my aquariums. So like I'm very, very low-tech. I've just got heaters, sponge filters, and eBay lights, and that's it. So if you want a tank that looks like my tank, then just run exactly what I'm doing. eBay light, you don't need to get any expensive light. But if you want to bump it up and you want to get like a Food the Flower Horn kind of tank, which if you guys haven't checked him out, I mean, he's got like a lot of subs, so you probably have. But he's set up something else. Like he's got it's the Wallstad method, and he's got dirt and stuff like that. And yeah, so you can run that kind of stuff too. But my tank's literally just gravel, plants, no fertilizer. Just honestly, let the fish do the work and let Mother Nature find a way to do it. Don't try and go like crazy adventurous like with the plants if you're doing a low-tech tank, because you're kind of very limited. But yeah. You mind the Goldie? No, I'm in Brisbane. I'm not at the Goldie at all. I'm near the Goldie. I'm only, what is that? An hour and a bit drive? Less sometimes. How old am I? I'm 19 years old. I love how LRB does his fish room. Yeah, his fish room's sick. He's got another really, really good fish tank, because he does all of that stuff natural. Like his tanks are, I don't know. I was on his stream like a couple of days ago and I was asking him questions and he actually answered, which was really cool, because I don't think that a lot of the like American guys know about any of like the Aussie boys. But I asked him a question about how to breed the Plecos, because he's had like mad success like breeding those guys. He's had a really, really good time breeding them. And I have too, for the most part. I mean, I've got some decent clutches, but the amount of fish that he's getting, see you, Ryan. The amount of fish that he's getting compared to what I'm getting is just absurd. So I was kind of asking him about like what like he was doing to breed them. And honestly, he was just he was running like a very low tech tank, but what he said was that like he wasn't keeping any other fish in there. And for the most part, once they become very relaxed, they were just spawning every day. And he was getting a lot more stuff that way. So yeah. He's got awesome tanks though. Like the fish he keeps too are pretty cool. He's got a lot of like endless, I think, and stuff like that. But he doesn't have like, maybe he does have really cool plecos and all that kind of stuff. But I honestly haven't noticed that he highlights them a lot. But I could be completely wrong. I know that for a fact he does a lot more like, yeah, guppies, shrimp, and all those kind of like little critters. I set up a tank in my aunt's basement, and she kept forgetting she had a mini heart attack. She kept forgetting and had a mini heart attack whenever she heard the water. She kept thinking the water pipes broke. Yeah, it does sound like that. But I find that like if you have like a canister filter, it's actually really, really quiet too. I've had like fluval, those big fluval ones. I don't know what they're called, 407s and stuff like that. They're very quiet. They're not like loud at all, and they don't blow a little like sound like all the time. But the bubble, the sponge filters bubble like crazy. Like they are really loud, and they do sound like a water leak. I actually tell you a funny story. The guy I bought these so this afternoon, like when I've been looking for these leopard frog plecos for quite a bit of time just because they look so cool. And I wanted like the zebra plecos and stuff like that, but so hard to find. And like if you do find them, they're like $500 a fish, which I can't afford yet. And so I found this guy. I don't know how I found him. I got his number through another bloke. And then anyways, I went there. But as he was catching out the fish, he was filling up the tanks and doing like maintenance and stuff like that. And he actually flooded his fish room. So when I got there, along the whole bottom of the tank was just like water. And yeah, so he was fishing out the fish and I was just stepping over the water. But yeah, it does like happen all the time, I think, with a lot of like people that fill up their tanks with hoses and stuff like that. They just forget they flooded their whole garage. So yeah, a bit of a funny story, but it does happen. Like you got to be careful when you're changing water with a hose, because I've actually flooded that. I flooded that one below diesel, like below the Instagram tank. I flooded that. That was pretty scary, especially if you got like a wood floor and if you've got electricity and stuff like that connected. That can be quite scary. How do you grow rainbow fish fast? I want to see if I can get them to breed. So rainbow fish are known to be quite a slow growing fish. And in my experience, it takes a very, very long time. Not as long as L number plecos, but a very long time to get them up to a size where they start to breed. Now, depends what kind of rainbows you got. The Plecos, which are the dwarf neon rainbows, they don't take very long to get to maturity, sexual maturity. They take a couple of months, like not a very long time. But a lot of other ones I think can take quite a bit of time to get big and stuff like that. And I mean, that's just kind of what you got to buy into when you buy rainbow fish. But I mean, my tips always for growing fish fast: consistent feeding. You don't want to overfeed them and bloat them and stuff like that. But like, you don't want to bloat them, but like feeding consistently a couple of times a day, feeding them really high protein foods is going to be helpful too. But not too much protein, because again, you will bloat them. I'm not trying to like make it complicated at all, but just like bloodworms and stuff like that with some tropical flakes and all that kind of stuff a couple of times a day. But really clean water is going to make them grow so much quicker. And another thing that I've noticed as well, if you keep them in a really big body of water, they're going to grow quicker too. So that's what you can do, but just have patience. You got to like kind of take your time. That's how it is. Like I think Dean's Fish Room, which is like on Corey's channel all the time. He's like one of my favorite fish keepers. His like mottos and all that kind of stuff seems to be mainly oriented around patience. He's not trying to force anything. And like I heard another thing really good this week too, and it was like a lot of people will say like, oh, like people are really, really good at breeding fish and stuff like that, and they'll like say that you're a master breeder and all kind of stuff. And I don't get told that at all. I'm not a master breeder. But the people that are really, really good, like they do all the discus breeding and all the L-Noma plecos and stuff like that, they commonly say like, well, they're not the ones like breeding it. Like they're just kind of providing like a space for them to do all their breeding and all that kind of stuff. And they don't really talk about, they don't say that, they don't really acknowledge and attribute the success to themselves. Some people do, but a lot of people don't. And like, that's a weird thing to think about, but it is true. Like you're not breeding it. Like you're not making, like putting a bunch of ingredients together and then baking a cake. It's kind of like you're setting it up so that they can do the work. But yeah, got Kaz's back. Can we see my bearded dragon again? To be honest, he looks so tired. I'm not going to agitate him again. But yeah. I had a canister filter on, but water would evaporate during the week and create a river noise. Yeah, that happens too. So like that was happening with me too. So sometimes we just put the intake a bit lower, but it's not obviously that simple. But yeah. Nick is the one who got me into YouTube and was the first Oz fish tuber I found. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah, I like obviously don't ever consider myself to be like I don't know. I'm just like a guy that likes to make little fish videos and stuff like that. And like I'm pretty cool that you got like I find it pretty cool that you guys like even watch these videos. But yeah, I guess like yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm glad that you found me. Yeah. Nick, do you breed wait, what's this? You also try and breed many different fish. Seems those master breeders stick to a limited species and master that. Yeah, like to be honest, actually, I don't think I breed that crazy amount of fish. Like I try and do a lot of things just because content, like not for the content. Like I enjoy breeding a lot of stuff, and but like I like want to educate you guys too, and that's the thing for me. So, I think I'd probably breed a similar amount of fish, like different types of fish, to what those guys are breeding. Like I'm breeding angelfish, rainbow fish. I guess the Elden Plecos now, bristlenose, endless. Okay, this is getting pretty extensive. Let's say pistos. Am I forgetting something? Tetras. I think that's it. So like what, like 7 types of fish? It'd be easier, and I could breed a lot more and become like not a master, but like I could become a way more efficient if I had more space. But I mean, and then you could breed more quantities of stuff, I guess, too, like bigger lots and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, some of these guys breed like discus, they breed angelfish, they breed plecos. A lot of people will stick to one different type of fish, but that comes down to the individual fish keeper. Like if your hobby and your passion is in like making money off of the fish, like then that's better business decision. But yeah. Should I ship fish? I only have chain stores in Darwin mainly. Yeah, I mean, like, you're probably not gonna, you won't like the chances of you selling a fish to a chain store is next to nothing. Like those guys, they don't buy from breeders and stuff like that because they buy from mainly wholesalers, and they actually have like policies where they have certain agreements with. I'm pretty sure they have certain agreements with the wholesalers that they're not going to buy from other people and undercut them and stuff like that because those wholesalers kind of run off of they run off of like that business. So yeah, they can't sell. I don't think they can buy a lot of stuff, but yeah. What else we got going on? Would your video on breeding neon tetras be a good guide for other tetras like rummy nose and the other popular types? So my answer for that is going to be like kind of. I think a lot of those other fish breed similar. If they're egg scattering fish, I guess you can use it. I don't think that having the peat moss is going to be as necessary for other tetras. I think more lowering the hardness and stuff like that's going to be a bit different. But for instance, I've had a lot more success with neons. I'll be honest, I've been doing a lot of experimenting behind the scenes and all that kind of stuff with the neons, and I've been trying to breed them in bare bottom tanks and all that kind of stuff. But they don't do as well, and they don't lay as many eggs as they do when they have that peat. They need that peat, and they need that like dirt, because in the Orinoco River, the way they come from, it's all that black water, like dirty kind of water, and not dirty, but like they just want that like darkness, and they really need that. So I guess take it with a grain of salt. Like, I mean, you could use the same method, but for a lot of tetras, it's just getting them conditioned, putting them into a separate box or something like that with a spawning mop, and just letting the light come on in the morning, and they're going to do they're going to breed. So I'm not like, I haven't done rummy nose and stuff like that yet. Still very new to tetras, like breeding and all that kind of stuff. But yeah. Did I say cribs? No, I don't. So I don't have cribs anymore. I dropped all my cribs because that's a fish that is not going to make you a lot of money. And for me, it was kind of like the cribs were almost like the entree to the apistos. I wanted to do the cribs before I did the apistos just to get my kind of confidence up on a cheap fish, because the apistos aren't crazy expensive. Like retail, I paid 50 a piece, which is way too much, and I shouldn't have paid that much, but I really just wanted the fish. So I paid $50 a piece retail. So $100 for Diesel and his girlfriend. And I guess before I took that leap, I paid like $5 for a crib or something like that. So not a great amount of profit, and you can breed a crazy amount of them and then just have a big problem on my hands. So yeah. What small plecos are good to keep with a minor shrimp? I think most of the L number plecos are actually like, as long as they don't get too big. So like the leopard frogs would be good. Peppermint, bristlenose would be good. Like really like all kinds of them, because they're not going to be bothered to really attack shrimp, and they're not going to really eat them and stuff like that. They do really good. So like any kind of plecos are really all right. What's happening here? Do you suggest breeding cribs for a beginner? Yeah, like for sure, because it depends. Obviously, everyone's different, but like cribs, like I was saying before, because they're cheaper and they're a low ticket kind of fish. They're not low ticket, but like medium kind of thing, and they're a lot easier. You can have a lot more leeway with taking care of them and stuff like that. It's a harder fish to kill. And any lessons that you're going to learn, I mean, I'd rather lose $20 than lose $100. So that's like my theory. It depends. You don't want to just breed cribs and then not be able to sell them and stuff like that. That can be really messy. But yeah, if you breed cribs, it'd be a good entree fish for epistogrammas for sure. Bring on the lizard. Oh, I don't need to bring on the lizard. You paid 70. Okay, Kat says he paid 70 retail for his 5 gold as Agassiz. So that's like pretty good. The 5 golds and all that kind of stuff seem to be a lot cheaper than the epistogrammas. I think they're a lot, like, I don't know what it is. They're definitely more available. Oh, okay, here we go. I want to get albino cribs. A lot more for the albinos as they're not as common. Yeah, so like if I was going to breed cribs, I'd do albinos too, because they're a lot less common, so you can charge a little bit more for them, and then it's kind of worth it. But that makes them also more expensive, so you might as well just buy whatever fish you were like wanted to buy originally. So yeah. Actually, another thing I'm going to mention about that too is like, if you don't enjoy keeping the fish you're keeping, like I wouldn't recommend doing that at all, because you're just going to burn yourself out. If I was keeping fish that I didn't enjoy keeping, I'd definitely burn myself out. And like, there's no point. You're better off just enjoying the hobby the way you want to enjoy it. And I mean, you've always got to kind of like challenge yourself with this stuff. And it's important to always be trying to learn new things and experiment with new stuff. And don't be afraid to take the financial leap. Like, as long as it's not going to be completely detrimental. And like, I mean, at least if you have kept guppies and if you know what you're doing with water parameters and stuff like that, like you know what you're trying to achieve, and your natural environment around you, or the natural tap water and stuff like that can suit it, just take the plunge, because you can just sit on the fence for so long and then kind of not want them in the end. And it's better just to, I mean, enjoy it while you want to do it. And then, I don't know, that's just a weird thing I've noticed about a lot of people is like, they're not enjoying the hobby as much as they could be. And that kind of makes me upset, because it's like, I'm enjoying it a crazy amount. Just the fish keeping and stuff like that is just so fun. And like, yeah, I'd hate to feel like people are getting burned out because they're not trying to do certain things and stuff like that. It just seems like, I don't know. Yeah, like I definitely agree that you should practice and learn stuff. But yeah, don't be afraid to try and get whatever fish you want to get. I mean, we're talking about like $40 difference here in fish for different kinds of enjoyment you're going to get. Like, yeah. Do you add any meds in with the eggs to prevent fungus growing the eggs? So yes, I do. So I add methylene blue to a lot of the eggs, and that is an antifungal. So lots of times, what's going to happen is on the eggs, you're going to have a few eggs that just go white because they're not fertilized. And some of that, like the eggs can form fungus and stuff like that. And because a lot of the time eggs are stuck together in like a group when they're spawned, that fungus can spread from a egg that's gone bad. It's just not fertilized. And it can make the other ones get fungus on them, and then they're not going to hatch. So yeah, it's going to quickly check something. There we go. It's all good. Yeah, obviously just give it a better try. Like give it a proper try, then regret it. That's exactly right. And especially, I think, if there's a fish you want and you don't see it often, get it, because someone else is going to want it too. And you'll be upset and you'll be kicking yourself if you don't get it. By the way, we switched it up this week. We're not drinking tea. Oh, we kind of are. If you were here last stream, I was talking about tea. I've still been having the chai tea. I know a lot of people don't care here, but this is something that I've been trying a lot. I've been trying a lot of like dark black teas and stuff like that. It sounds really weird, as I was talking about last week, but today we're drinking a San Pellegrino Limone plus tea. Very nice. I definitely recommend it. It's I normally don't drink like soft drinks and stuff like that, and soda and all that. I don't drink a lot of sugar and stuff like that, but I definitely needed a sugar kick. I've been driving a lot today. The fish that I went and picked up, it was a 2-hour drive there and back. So yeah, pretty annoying, but I'm completely drained from this week. It's been a big week just dealing with like the website and stuff like that. So yeah, I love these streams because it's at the end of the week. It lets me like unwind, tell you guys everything, and then reset. And yeah, so we got some fish to get shipped out tomorrow, which I've got to pack up and all that kind of stuff. But pretty fun. It's been super, super fun shipping out all the fish. I think a lot of people have been excited to get their stuff, and I'm so happy to see people enjoying the fish that I've made, which is really cool. That's been super fun. I shipped out some koi angels today. Oh no, not today. Last Monday, and they got out, and yeah, it was so sick. Okay, do I have photos that I can? Here we go. Actually, I'm going to answer this one first. I actually bought chai tea after that stream. It's so good. Yeah, it's mint. It's like actually so good. Like I always have it right before bed, and the way I make it is I don't know why I have it before bed. I think like it just makes sure that I get enough like water and stuff like that. A lot of people aren't going to care about this, but what I do is I add the chai tea like to it, like with just like a tea bag, boiling water, and I add a little bit of cold water just because I don't want to drink insanely hot boiling water straight away. So I want to drink the tea pretty quick. I float the bag in there for like 50 seconds and I take it out and just drink it black, and it tastes really good. So yeah. Do you have photos that you can show us of the leopard frogs, or do we have to wait for the next vid? So, okay, the best photo is going to be on my Instagram. If you guys go and follow that, it's just Keeping Fish Simple. You guys will get to see it. But they look, I wish I had like, I should probably start using a stream kind of person if I'm going to not stream like program. I'm just using the webcam feature on YouTube. But it let me show you what they look like. I mean, there's obviously going to be videos and stuff like that, all that kind of stuff. But I'll show you, like, if you look them up, they look pretty awesome. I'll show you. One sec. So I don't know how good a quality this is going to be, but literally right there, they look mint. So mine are not that big. Mine are they're quite undersized. They're about 2.5 centimeters, some of the bigger ones. So that's why I got them a bit cheaper and stuff like that. And yeah, like they've been, I mean, you're obviously going to pay a premium for bigger fish, but they look really cool. They're still very small. They've got a lot of growing to do. They're going to take probably 2.5 years before they start breeding. But like once they start breeding, man, I'm going to be so happy. Like so keen. I should have a separate channel for beverage reviews. Probably. I don't know. What else do I like? I like coffee. You guys know that. I like good white coffee, like flat white and stuff like that. Coffee in Australia is so different to the US. I was in the US start of this year. Well, like briefly, I went to Canada skiing and stuff like that. But I'm actually from, like, half my family's from the US. And yeah, the coffee over there. All you guys who drink US coffee, I don't know how you do it. It sucks. It's so bad. But you probably say the same thing about Aussie coffee. It sucks. Like Aussie coffee here is so much better. And you guys will taste it and you'll be like, what the heck is that? But we don't add creamer and stuff like that. We add milk to it. And yeah, our coffee's pretty OG. It's pretty good. They kind of suck in the US. Yeah. Your fish are so healthy. And Liz, I got basically had fry that week and can't even count how many there are. Yeah. So normally, like when I sell endless, what I try and do is, especially normally like if they're private sales on like Gumtree and stuff like that, yeah, my camera's a potato. I'm sorry. I'll explain that story in a second. I've been trying to get a better camera. I've been sending out on the private sales, like just the amount of fish that people ordered, because like I can't be giving out super large amounts of fish all the time. Like otherwise I just won't have any endless. But on like orders with like the aquarium store, I mean, like KTS and stuff like that. I've been sending out a couple of extra babies, and sometimes I've actually been like sending out pregnant females. I'll try and pick out some fat girls that are going to pop any day now. So yeah, it's been pretty fun, but I'm glad you're enjoying them. I always medicate, and they've been really good colony for me, and they're not inbred and stuff like that. I've been mixing up the lines and all that kind of stuff. I put a lot of effort into them. So I'm going to talk about my camera. So last week I told you guys I was looking for a webcam. I wanted to get a proper webcam, 1080p. I want to get a light too, because we're still like kind of like, I'd say temporary at this stage. We're still startup stage, I'd say, for these streams. So we're using my 720p MacBook Pro camera, which sucks. It looks really bad, and I'm sorry. And I realize that there's a lot of people that could just watch a 1080p stream. So I really appreciate it for everyone coming out. But what I was going to say is that because of this whole COVID thing and people doing Zoom calls and stuff like that, there's not a single camera available. I had like people donate last stream, and I was like, I've still got all the like money, and I've been saving it up for a new webcam. But like, unless I'm going to spend $600 on a webcam, which I'm not going to do because I can just buy a different camera, I'm looking at about probably $200 for a webcam or something like that. It's not worth it, and there's none in stock. So you guys have just got to put up with it every Sunday. You just got to put up with the 720p. I'm looking for them, but no one can bring them into my country, and it's been super, super hard. So I apologize. I'm still looking for it. I've got my expensive mic here. This was not cheap, but yeah, I'm still waiting on that camera. So I'm sorry about that, but yeah. They're probably relaxed knowing they don't have to perform for the camera like when Nick has them. Yeah, so like that's true. My fish, it's kind of weird to think that like there's like a video with like, I don't know, 10,000 views of like my neon tetras. Like they don't know that they're like, 10,000 people have seen that. It's really weird. Pretty cool. Can't afford it now with those fish purchases today. No, trust me, Bobby, that's coming out of pocket. A lot of the money that I make from fish and YouTube and stuff like that, it all gets put back into the fish and enjoyment purchases, which are El number plecos, which a lot of people care about. Like a lot of, because I'm going to talk about that in a second, but a lot of those purchases are often made just out of my own savings and stuff like that. So that's how I like to do it. But what I was going to say was that, yeah, like all the fish money gets put it back into like this week. Like I said, we got the wholesalers and stuff like that. So that's where it's all going. Hello from Germany. Hello. I don't know how you say hello in German. Quick question. Is there a natural remedy for white spot in community tank? I'm new to the hobby. No, I wouldn't say that there is. I think like white spot's kind of like a tricky thing. You've got to kill it when it's in the water column. It can't be cured when it's on the fish. So a lot of the methods, I haven't really had problems with it. It's not a really common issue in my area. But a lot of people, what they like to do is bump up the temperature and try and kill it off that way. Or they are, well, obviously you need like some kind of meds. So I just buy the meds before everyone else like all the other fish start to get it. But yeah, there's no, like, I guess when you're saying natural remedy, I'm guessing that you're trying to find like a way to do it without buying the meds. Just buy the meds. It's just so much easier. When my sister goes to Dutch Bros, is that a coffee joint in the States? She gets a caramelizer without coffee. Oh, that's like so intense. That's like having a shot. Yeah. Have I tried Umart for webcams? Yeah, like I've tried so many places. Nothing's selling them for a reasonable price. And like, honestly, I'm just trying to achieve 1080p. And you guys will get to see my face properly instead of it looking like I'm on I don't know even what it looks like. I've watched the replays. I mean, I'll admit it's not up to standard. Like I definitely want it to be better. Like I try and always hold some sort of like some type of quality to my brand, as you'd call it. So yeah. What's the best food I can feed my guppy fry? So baby brine shrimp are definitely going to be the best. But you can also like guppy fry are very easy to take care of and all that kind of stuff. So you can just crush up some little flakes and stuff like that, and they're going to do perfect. But I always recommend varying up the diet, and that's maybe why I've had such healthy little baby endlers and stuff like that, is because I feed the highest quality foods that I can find. So baby brine shrimp, I crush up flakes, do micro worms and stuff like that. And that means that they're getting all their macros and all that kind of stuff. It's really helpful for them. We've got Mez here. A lot of people here today. It's pretty cool. I've noticed all you guys' names in comments and stuff. So yeah. I've been thinking about sinking foods would be good for carnivorous. Okay. What sinking foods would be good for carnivorous L number plecos? Any ideas? So I'm not the person to give you any brand. I think you want about, I wouldn't go under 40% protein. A lot of people want it way higher than that because they're carnivorous. The food that I feed, it's not branded. It's just, I get it from like the local fish store. It's just literally like the one that they produce and pack it. And it's what he feeds to his fish. So that's what I've been using. And it's 42% protein. And then like, I can't remember the other percentages, but I think with the plecos, you're looking for mostly the protein number is the most important. And then like all the other fillers and stuff like that, you want to see and make sure it's all good. Got HC Aqua here, my favorite guppy bro. He's got some cool ass ponds. They're so cool. And yeah, again, thank you for the footage in my guppy video. I really appreciated that. But yeah, do I like Vegemite? Dude, of course. I should maybe do that next stream, bring some Vegemite up. I eat Vegemite quite often. I've actually been, this makes me sound like such a freak, but I've been making bread. That's one of the things that I learned how to do in quarantine. I've been pumping out sourdough, natural sourdough. I've been trying to experiment with that. I don't know if any of you guys have done that before, but if you guys are into like any kinds of challenges of cooking, that's a big challenge. Try and make your own sourdough. So I've cultured a starter and made some bread and I put Vegemite on that. Tastes really good. I think you'll always hear it from Aussies, and they always say people that eat Vegemite that don't like it don't know how to eat it. Like I only put a very little amount, and I like salty foods and stuff like that. So I'm not a big sweet tooth, and I really like salt and Vegemite and all that kind of stuff. So I put it on like the sourdough, but I only put a little bit just to make it like have that nice taste. I would have the same exact reaction as all the people in the States would if I just grabbed a huge teaspoon and went like, it would taste good. Like that's not how it's meant to be eaten, but I do like Vegemite. I love sourdough bread. Yeah, sourdough is awesome. It's a little hobby of mine. I'm not a good cook. I'm not like by any means a chef or anything like that. I don't do anything like that. But the sourdough has been super fun, and it's way better for you. Like you should see like some of those like breads, that the Wonder Bread and stuff like that has a lot of things, because normally bread, this is going to get like a bit controversial maybe for some people, but bread is made of what, 3 ingredients: water, flour, and salt. That's it. Like the rest is done by natural yeast and stuff like that. And that's how bread should be. Now, if you look at the back of a Wonder Bread packet, it's probably going to have like 10,000 ingredients in there. So that's just my theory on it. But yeah, I've had 2 Aussies send you some Vegemite and it's still in the fridge. Never tried it. If you do, you guess you're scared. So HC Aqua hasn't tried Vegemite yet. If you do a stream and just send me like a DM, and I'll stay up till 5 a.m. and I'll watch you on your stream eat the Vegemite, because it's mint. You got to do it properly. You got to do it real good. Chuck a bunch of butter on your warm toast and then a small dollop and spread it across the whole slice. Exactly how you should do it. There's people in the States as well, because I've got a lot of people here who watch from the States. There's actually one of the chocolate companies over here, Cadbury, which is the biggest one here in Australia, made a Vegemite chocolate, and it tasted mint. So yeah, it was real good. See you, Lefty. What else we get? Dutch Bros is a coffee place in the Pacific Northwest. So what's the Northwest? Which state are you from, Melissa? Because I've been to like, I think Dunboroughs in the US. Maybe they're like a spin-off of the same thing. I've been to Starbucks and all that kind of stuff. But honestly, it just doesn't compare. It's not the same. Like I'm big on the I just sound like probably really snobby, but like it's not from that kind of perspective. I just really am like a purist. So that's why all my aquariums are like very easy and simple. And it's the same for like most of the stuff that I enjoy eating. So yeah, I don't like it to be, yeah. Homemade bread is the best, especially if you have it in a wood oven. I actually haven't done that yet. That'd be really mint. I make pizzas and stuff like that with the base and all that kind of stuff. That's real fun to make too. During quarantine, I learned how to make cheesecake in the microwave. That is interesting. How would you do that? Because cheesecake is, yeah, that's pretty interesting. Shep just bought some of my endless. Yeah, I just saw that because I'm going to have to send you. They'll be out tomorrow, so I'm going to have to stay up late and pack them up now. But thank you so much for the order. I'm chucking a couple extras for you as well, of course. Yeah, there was, so in that Vegemite chocolate, it was like caramel and Vegemite kind of thing. It was a bit like a caramello koala, but Vegemite hint in it. It was a bit weird, but I enjoyed it. It was all right. Yeah, but I'm definitely gonna have to send some extra endless to Shep. What else we got? We buy light rye. No idea if it's any good for you, but the toast is great. Yeah, like honestly, like I mean, I'm not the person to tell you what you're eating is good or bad, and I don't think that it's pretty much like that. Like eat whatever you want to eat. I don't care. Like, but for me, yeah, I do enjoy the bread that I make, and I think that like if people are allergic to gluten and stuff like that, they should maybe try making their own bread, because I think that when you ferment it yourself and you get to see how it's made, I think a lot of the times the way you ferment it actually breaks down a lot of the things that your body can't break down into stuff that it can use. So yeah, that'd be really cool. Do I ship to Sydney? I do ship to Sydney. So yeah. What? On stream. Sorry about that. Technical errors. No, it's all good. You can use gluten-free flour. You can, but the thing is, the gluten, like in bread, it sounds so weird, but gluten in bread is what makes it kind of have all the bubbles and stuff like that, because it stretches. Like if you say, let's make a dough, right? We make a bread dough. This is nothing about fish, and you wash that bread dough until there's nothing in there. There's no extra things except for the gluten, which you can do. You can just run it under like flour and water, mix it all together, run it under a tap. You'll see the gluten is like this little piece of putty. It's so like stretchy, and those bonds are so tight. So when you mix that through bread, that's what makes all the big bubbles and holes and stuff like that. So you can make bread, but it's just not the same as the ones with the gluten in it. So yeah. As if you found Vegemite chocolate good. I enjoyed it. It was good. I'm not holding back on it. It was good. How do you put a little bit of Vegemite on toast? You need to blanket it. Yeah, it's up to you. Can you please give me tips for breeding platies? Okay, yeah, I can. So, I don't know why we're talking about food, Sarah. We're talking about platies now. So, platies, I'd say you want like at least, I mean, you can get away with a 10-gallon tank, but like 20-gallon tank's going to be better, because they're a bit like, you want a bit more space, because especially once they start breeding, all that kind of stuff, it's going to be way better. But you want heaps of hiding spaces for the babies. You want to feed a varied diet. You're going to want live plants in the aquarium. That's going to be super, super beneficial. And like, because the live plants are going to use up a lot of the chemicals, and they're going to help balance it out and all that kind of stuff. I've talked about that in a lot of videos. So that's my recommendations. I'd say make sure you got live plants. So do something like water sprite or water wisteria is going to be awesome. That'd be really, really good. And then what else? Yeah, plants. Get, I'd say one male and then two females. You want them to be trios. So, and then what else can I recommend? Yeah, lots of hiding spaces. Don't get blue gravel. Get a heater. I wouldn't recommend doing them without a heater, and you'll be sweet. Super easy fish to take care of. How do you wash your hands before sticking them into a tank? I'll be honest, sometimes I don't even wash my hands before sticking them in a tank. Normally, if I've been like, obviously, if I was in the garden and I was like using fertilizers and stuff like that, I would definitely wash my hands. But like, just wash them real like easy. And they're meant to have the smell, but that doesn't really do anything to the fish. They don't care. How many people actually have here? A really good question. Just like say that you've made bread in the chat if you've made bread before. I want to see how many people actually have made bread. But yeah. And Dylan, shipping is $21.95, so it's flat rate at the moment. I'm still obviously very early days with the whole fish stuff, like all the shipping and all that kind of stuff. I'm looking to make it obviously cheaper because shipping fish, like, it's expensive, and I think that's the thing, that if you could find a cheap way to ship fish, but is also doesn't reduce the quality and like the amount of like fish that arrive alive, which should be at least 99%, then yeah, that's a challenge, and that's where it gets expensive, and that's where profit's lost, and that's also where a lot of people, like, if it was the same amount of money to buy fish online as it was to buy it in store, I'd still go in the store normally, like, because I enjoy shopping at the store. But there's a lot of people that just rather buy them online, and it is fun to get fish in the mail, that's for sure. So yeah. How many people actually here have made bread though? I really am still keen. Can I put white tetra with angelfish in a single tank? Yep. As long as, like, depends what kind you've got. I don't know what kind of tetra you got, but maybe not the smaller ones with big angels, but some of the bigger tetras, like black neons and stuff, are normally okay with angels. And quite a few people have actually made bread. Wow. What are you going to feed your new L numbers? So I'm doing I might get a bit of flack here from some of you huge L number enthusiasts, but I'm doing frozen bloodworms, and I'm doing frozen brine shrimp when I can find it, and also just a sinking pellet and some live black worms. So the reason I get flack is just from the frozen foods sometimes don't have quite enough high protein, and yeah. My first attempt at bread was plated bread, and it came out rock hard, but it looked great. Mum was so Mum varnished it and kept it anyway. Yeah. Hello everyone who's just joined. We've got quite a few people here. Maybe everyone got let off work or something. Up the San Pellegrino, that's right. Do you have any tips on raising bristlenose fry as they just left the cave? So normally, like, if they leave the cave, that normally means like obviously the dad's ready to let them go. So constant food, you want, like, I don't know, you kind of want them to understand what food is. I found that sometimes when you breed Plecos and they are first newborns, a big challenge is that they don't know what food is yet, like, because they haven't seen their dad eating and stuff like that. So once they learn it, then they'll be pretty, yeah. So there's quite a few people here have actually made bread. Wow. I'm surprised. I make cheese garlic bread rolls, butter cheated, bought pizza dough. Just, it's so easy to make. Like, the way I make pizza dough, just give it a try, because it's literally not hard at all. So what you do is, the amount of pizza dough that you want to make is normally based, we're not a cooking channel, but there's going to be way better people that make pizza than me. But the way I do it is, the amount of pizza dough you want to make is based off of the amount of water you use at the start. So what you want to do, if you're feeding like 4 people, you do like 2 cups of water, and that's normally a pretty decent amount. And I'll feed probably easily like way more than 4 people. That's a lot of pizza. What you're going to want to do is add like a little bit of yeast, like a teaspoon of yeast, and into warm water, like lukewarm. You don't want it to be boiling, but pretty warm. Mix it up with a bit of sugar, and you'll activate the yeast. So you do that for 10 minutes. All you got to do, get plain flour. You can get like the really fine stuff, or just any kind of flour. I wouldn't recommend bread flour and stuff like that. It doesn't really work the same. I mean, you can use it, and all you're going to do is just mix flour into it until it becomes like a dough, and you're just going to keep mixing it until it becomes a dough. And it's literally that easy. It's so easy to make, so minimal ingredients, and it tastes so amazing. So after you've done that, you're going to have like a big ball of dough. Just leave it sit in there. It's going to rise up, and then you can use that. It's perfect. I don't know why we're talking about bread today. I mean, a lot of people probably came onto the stream thinking we're going to talk about the leopard frogs, but I haven't really talked about them at all. If you guys have any questions about them, please please start asking me. What are some mistakes you've made fish keeping? A lot of people have forgotten dechlorinator, but there are there are many ones you have made that you want to slap yourself. Like, yeah, I've made a lot of mistakes. And that's why I guess a lot of people have been, I don't know, like enjoying the transparency. But like, yeah, I've made recently actually with 6 months ago, I made the chlorinator mistake and I lost a couple danios to that. That sucked. But so that was just I added water, forgot to dechlorinate it somehow. I don't know why. And yeah. So what are some other ones I've done? The green water stuff, that happens quite a bit to me because when I move fish around, the balances that tanks are running off of, because Mother Nature kind of finds its way to do things after a bit. Like if you add fish to a tank, it kind of just, it'll go out of balance, imbalance, and then it'll just kind of come to an equilibrium. And what can happen is if you start breeding stuff and moving it around, you get green water really easily. So that's what happens. But yeah, like I guess that's a big mistake, but it's not detrimental to the fish at all. I'm trying to think of some really big ones. I think like, oh, here's a good one actually. It's a mistake I made recently. I had a clutch of angelfish fry coming up, so I hatched the eggs and all that kind of stuff in an incubator, so it was pretty warm. And I've been putting them in those breeder boxes. Now, I'm going to give you guys a disclaimer. If you live in a cold area and you're not heating your room, you're going to want to be careful with those breeder boxes because larger fry are normally okay because it's all right. Like, but the temperature for the breeding box versus the tank can sometimes differ between 5 degrees Celsius, which is like 10 degrees Fahrenheit, I think. So in my area, it's been getting really cold overnight. And what's been happening is the temperature in that box is probably dropping quite a bit. And there's a Pistogramma cacatoides in there. Perfectly fine, nothing's happened. But the newborn angelfish fry I've been losing 10%, 20% each night. So that's just a little warning, but those are the silly mistakes you make. And I guess like now I'm not going to make that mistake, but I guess if you guys can learn from that, it makes it a lot better. What time is it where I am? It's 7:25 p.m. He thinks he's streaming for keeping food simple. Yeah. So yeah, I was just talking about this before. What am I going to feed my leopard frogs? So pellets, sinking protein pellets and all that kind of stuff, and just the frozen bloodworms and brine shrimp and live blackworms. But I haven't done gel foods yet. I've thought about making my own like beef hut, but I haven't been like gutsy enough to do it. I actually made food at the start of quarantine too. That was another project that I did. So I made the fish food. Turned out to be like it worked. They ate it and they enjoyed it, but I read this thing about how they really enjoy the taste of garlic. Added way too much garlic, and it just ended up being really messy. All the fish tanks smelled like garlic, and I had to do lots of water changes before that stopped. So I'm still experimenting with that. That's probably going to be quite a while away before I drop a video on how to make your own fish food, because obviously there's like the Joey one, like the King of DIY one where he makes beef hut, but I want to directly copy that, and I kind of want to improve that version that he's doing. So yeah, like that's kind of where my head is at with that. But I'm definitely like experimenting with it and stuff like that. But the Rapashi food is not as available in Australia. I don't see it quite often in stores and stuff like that. So yeah. Is there a difference between L114 bristlenose and can they breed? I have common bristlenose, and is there a difference between L114 bristlenose? Can they breed? I don't know what the L114 is, that classification. If you gave me a common name, maybe I'd know, but I really wish I could give you an answer there, but I can't. Keeping food simple is his second channel, lol. Keeps getting mixed up between which one he's on. Yeah. No, actually, I don't know if you guys care, but there's my second channel, which I was making quite a bit back, I was fixing and refurbishing mobile phones. So if you guys want to check it out, just look up Nick. I'll just type it in the chat. Look this up on YouTube and it'll come up. You guys can watch them. They're kind of satisfying and cool, but yeah. Okay. See how it works. Can I post in my own chat? Okay. Yeah, so if you guys want to see that, that's my second channel. It's not about food, it's about phones. What state do I live in? I live in Queensland. Blue-eyed lemon. Yeah, I think if you mix blue-eyed lemons I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure mixing the blue-eyed lemons and the commons makes marble. I can't quite remember. Maybe it makes marble. I heard something like that, but I'm really not entirely sure. They're really cool looking. I'm probably going to have to wrap the stream up in a couple of minutes just because I think dinner's ready, which is good because I'm hungry. But yeah, I really do appreciate everyone coming to these streams. It's been super fun. So like I said, I'm still trying to obviously get the camera and make these a little bit better and keep bringing you guys quality. There's a video that I made on how to like do microworms that's coming out this week too, which you guys could be finding a little bit interesting. That could be really cool for you guys who are trying to like learn that. Yeah. What tank did I put my new fish in? So yeah, actually, that's going to be coming up soon. So I've also got to make, like I haven't made it yet because I'm waiting for my wholesaler shipment to come in. But I've got to make a video showing you guys what I got. And I'm also going to make a fish room update for June. I can't believe it's June. And I've mixed a lot of stuff around. So the neon tetras are being kept in the tank below where all this, like the massive swarm of angelfish fry were. And the neon tetras are with the L201s. And then I've also got in the other room with the other two is the leopard frogs where the neon tetras were. And they're by themselves. So it's just leopard frogs there. I don't remember what else has changed. I don't know. You guys will just have to see. I've also moved the rainbow fish into their own big aquarium now. So there's like 40 rainbow fish, which is really cool. I've never seen that before. So yeah. Do you think you will do a predator fish tank? Not anytime soon. Yeah. Like, I mean, I find them really interesting, but I just like most of the predator fish are pretty big. So I can't give up tank space for something like that. Can you do a stream from where your fish are? That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, actually I could. I think the internet there is pretty dodgy. Like, it's pretty hard to hear anything out there or like get any connection. Like my room's already a struggle. So I would do one out there, but that would make it a bit tricky. And the other thing too is like I've got a lot of people in my house and they're all up at this time. So yeah. But yeah, I think we might, if you guys have any questions before I end this one up, because it's been a little fun stream. I was glad to tell you guys what I got. I'll be making videos about the fish that I got, of course, so you guys can see them all. But it's going to be a fun little journey. We're going to raise them up to a size where they're big enough. And yeah, so it'll be pretty cool. But I have a problem. My endless and guppies make too many male fries. And I just have 3 aquariums, one with endless and one with guppies. So I guess I can't really decipher the problem that's going on there. I guess you can't really fix having too many male fry. I think it's like normally like a 50% chance you get a male and a female. I know that for a fact that you can get more females with the apistogramma when you breed them if you raise up the fry in colder conditions, and then more males if they're warmer. So I'm not too sure, but I don't really know what the question is. I think yeah, I don't know. But yeah, no, I do. Honestly, all you guys are really, really, it's just awesome. I can't believe that we have like 33 people here watching me. It's so weird. Like if you thought about like seeing 33 people live, it'd be so weird. So I do appreciate all you guys coming and like watching this. And I was, yeah, sorry for being a couple of minutes late as well. But yeah, I had to make a quick thumbnail for this. Yeah. Okay, too stressed. So just keep it consistent. So we're just talking about the problem before. Just keep your tank consistent and it'll be all mint. So yeah. Anyways, we're at an hour and a half. So yeah, I think we're going to wrap this up, but thank you guys so much for watching this. I really do appreciate it. Next week, I'm going to be doing another live stream. We'll go a bit longer, I think. And yeah, so stay around for that. But yeah, and also, do I prefer sand or gravel in my tanks? Honestly, do both. I guess gravel's better for plants, but sand looks pretty cool. So yeah, that's my answer. But thank you guys so much for watching this. I'll see you guys next week, like next Sunday. I'll do another stream, and I'll let you guys know on my community page when that's going to be. And yes, I'm still trying to look for a better camera and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this, guys. I really do appreciate it, and appreciate everyone joining in. And I'll see you guys next Sunday. So see ya.